Action.
How's the mic?
I'm rolling already.
How can you roll when I don't even know what's the title the producer gave us? What do we have?
Let's use cheap equipment for good photos.
Who came up with it? Okay, if we're gonna do that title, how to get good photos from cheap equipment, I would like to do it even more fun. You know, like really go online, get a used camera, you know, flash and all that stuff and see whether we can get good pictures with them. But they gotta be cheap equipment.
Yeah.
So went to Facebook Marketplace, found a guy that's willing to sell a mirrorless camera, offered him the price, he felt it was too low, we went back and forth, couldn't agree on the price, and finally after weeks, we see eye to eye on the price, but then it was on a day that I couldn't make it, so my producer went and collect from him, turned out legit, it's not a scam, got the camera, but this is the camera. So this is the cheapest mirrorless camera that I can find online. It is so beaten up that the ring on the lens is no longer there. Not only that, the battery cover would just fall off and I only get one battery that barely lasts enough. I want to try out my Vutrox lens. During the Vutrox event, I bought myself the 40mm Vutrox, so I can't wait to try this. But just to be fair, I bought another used equipment, which is a Vivitar flash. And here's the funny part, when I turn this on, occasionally the zoom doesn't work. And the total amount that we spend on this project. So what's left now is to get a model. Okay, don't cover your face. Yeah, that's nice. Chin up and smile. Smile a little bit. Nice. Okay. Okay, stand here, a different pose. Okay, that's nice. Turn your face to me a bit more. Yeah, hand in front, not behind. Yeah, side, side. Okay. Right, face turn. Nice. I want you to always look at me like you're the photographer. One shot, second shot. Lower. Yeah. This go up. This go in, chest go out. Wider a bit. Nice, just stay there. Beautiful. That, I must admit, wasn't very easy or fun to shoot. I was totally convinced that the photos would turn out outright horrible. Because if you really look at the behind the scene of Jean shooting me, you can notice that I was a little bit worried and not getting into that mood of shooting. Well, simply because when I look at the playback of the images, especially when I use the kit lens, I was totally worried. How it felt like was just like I was using a smartphone with no preparation, just take a shot of my own mother-in-law. That unpreparedness and that inability to get nice pictures. Here's the thing, when I slapped on the prime lens, I felt a huge difference. And I saw, ooh, it's the blurry background that kind of like made me realize that, chill Andrew, you got things under control. So the whole shoot, I was pretty convinced that the kit lens was junk. It wasn't the camera. The camera was fine. I could live with that camera. Right, Jin? And you know what I found out? I came back, I ingested all the photos into the computer, and take a look at this. And this shot. And then to my surprise, I was like, hey, which was the prime lens and which was the kit lens? So throughout the whole shoot, my biggest worry is that the kit lens was the deal breaker here, not the camera, not the flash. The flash is another story altogether. More on that after this. So if you really look at it, it wasn't that bad. But what made this felt so difficult that I wasn't convinced that I could use cheap equipment and used equipment to do the shoot? Definitely not the camera. Definitely not the 40mm prime lens. I just love it. I think it's psychological because the whole thing is that I spent my whole career using prime lens. And when I use a kit lens like this, that plastic feel and that zoom that I had to deal with just throw me off. Because if I really look at the photos, they're not that bad. Take a look. Now take a look again with an indication which one is the prime and which one is the kit lens. There's not that much difference. The background is blurrier, but it wasn't a deal breaker. So in other words, it is just that the feel that I had, that I was thinking that I am not running with my best shoe. And that was the only thing that separated the burden that I have today, not the cheap equipment. My inability to know and feel that particular lens. It was pretty decent, you must agree. Now moving on, there are major weaknesses. One of it is the dynamic range, especially when it's looking through the viewfinder. The Z50 always gives me a false exposure when I look at it. With the mirrorless, I don't look at the meter that much anymore. I tend to look at the final output on the viewfinder, the LCD of the viewfinder. I noticed that it's not accurate at all. I would say it's about 1 to 2 stops off from what it is. So I have to look at my exposure meter. And that is why I always tell mirrorless photographer, don't depend on your viewfinder LCD or your LCD to really think that you nailed the shot. Because looking it at your computer is a huge difference. The only way that you can train yourself to be spot on with exposure and not to be taken by a ride with your LCD or your viewfinder is to learn the exposure meter. The moment I relook at the exposure meter, like how we do it in the SLR days, it got better again. And here's the thing, cheaper cameras like this tend to feel too small. You know, there is no professional heft in it. When I grab it, they feel like they're gonna fall off my hand anytime. It's just a bit too small. Well, albeit that all these cameras are not really meant for professional use, it's meant for traveling and you want them light. But if you use the Z6 or the Z8 or the Z9, you don't have this problem. Right, all in all, not too bad. The photo turned out pretty good. And then the flash. Well, the flash wasn't that bad. The flash was bad only because it's broken. Now, if you look at that flash, I can't really blame. My aim was to go out and get the cheapest flash that I couldn't find, pre-owned, and mission done. But take a look at this mind-blowing shot. The flash was pointed directly at Sunny, the model. There was TTL, but I'm not going to waste my battery on TTL because that flash somehow consumes battery oddly too much. You know, I ran out of battery midway, so I had to turn it to manual from the beginning and just use full power or half power, and I didn't bother to do anything else. So I think when it comes to the flash, it's the skill that I have garnered over the past 2 to 3 decades of using flash. So here is what I really think. It doesn't really matter what equipment that you use, but if you use more expensive equipment, they're easier, they're faster, and they are more durable and more professional in the field and in the feedback that you get from the camera. The exposure that you get from the LCD is more accurate, the grip that you get is more solid, you know that you can trash it around and it'll still survive. And with a cheaper camera, you can feel that it's a little bit like what they created it for tourists. And that's what it was, light, simple, affordable. So could I really use it? Yes, I could. Now I know. So it brings us back to this very important rule that I always tell professional photographers when I train them in my one-to-one courses. Did you know that if you're a professional photographer, you can actually turn up at the academy and request to be trained on a particular genre, a specific skill one-to-one. And a lot of professional photographers sign up for courses this way. They do not want to be interrupted by other participants. They know that the time that they spend in the studio one-to-one with me is going to help them improve tremendously. And more importantly, many of these photographers know that next week they've got this job to perform. And they haven't done this long enough to convincingly go and shoot this example, shooting highly reflective product. So they come to the studio, spend 2 sessions with me where I really help them to do the shoot immediately with no time wasted, no discovery, it's just learning step by step all the 25 years of that effort that I've collected, all given back to the students in all these one-to-one courses. Hey, before we go, head on to the comment section. I really want to hear what you think. Do all this cheap gear works? Or was I lucky today? And where and why would you spend money on gear? Are they lenses? Are they bodies? Tell me your opinion. Let's have an intelligent discussion in the comment section. And viewers, before you go, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're doing all this so that you don't have to waste time. So if you subscribe with higher numbers, we are motivated to do more. And don't forget, head on to my e-learning website. You must check out our premium courses where every week you get a new course pushed to you on demand. You can watch them anytime, or the All Access. With All Access, you get premium courses and all these e-learning genre specific. If you really look at this, we have thousands of subscribers that have subscribed to us, and I'm very sure with skill, you can make any equipment, any camera, any lens, any gear work equally as well. See ya!